The rain hammered the roof of St. Augustine's like God's own judgment. Each drop a accusation Sebastian couldn't ignore. "You're a monster," he spat, his voice cracking as he shoved the crumpled letter into Nathaniel's chest, the words blurring through his tears. In that instant, the stained-glass saints above them seemed to weep blood-red light onto the man the congregation called holy, exposing the lie Sebastian had buried for years. Sebastian had always known the truth about his father, but tonight, under the flicker of the altar candles, clawed its way out like a demon from the depths of hell. Nathaniel's hand trembled as he clutched the letter, his saintly facade cracking like old plaster, revealing the hollow man beneath. "You don't understand, son," he whispered, but Sebastian did better than anyone, and the betrayal burned hotter than any sermon on forgiveness ever could. Sebastian Rainier had grown up in the shadow of steeples, where the air always smelled of polished oak and incense, and the echoes of hymns lingered long after the last Amen. Elmwood, Ohio, a speck on the map just outside Cleveland, where cornfields met crumbling factories, was the kind of place that clung to its Bible Belt roots like a second skin. Folks here didn't just go to church. They lived it, breathed it, judged by it. And at the heart of it all was Pastor Nathaniel Hale, the golden boy of the Midwest clergy, with his silver hair swept back just so, his voice like warm honey pouring over the flock every Sunday. He was the man who could make widows smile through their grief, turn skeptics into believers with a single parable, and adopt a scrawny 10-year-old orphan from the system's gutters without a second thought. That orphan was Sebastian. 15 years ago, Nathaniel had scooped him up from a foster home that reeked of despair, promising a life of purpose and love under God's watchful eye. "You're my miracle, Seb," Nathaniel had said that first night, ruffling his hair as they drove away in that old Ford pickup, the dashboard Jesus bobblehead nodding approval. Sebastian had believed him then. Hell, half the town still did. Nathaniel was their saint, volunteering at the soup kitchen, counseling teens through their lost years, even starting a youth group that kept kids off the streets and in the pews. But saints, Sebastian learned early, cast long shadows, and hid sins that could topple empires. By 18, Sebastian was a ghost in his own home. Tall and lean, with Nathaniel's sharp jawline but eyes the color of storm clouds, gray and restless. He moved through high school like a shadow, acing classes in literature and history while dodging the jocks who called him Pastor Pretty Boy. He buried himself in books, dog-eared copies of Whitman and Baldwin smuggled under his mattress, their words a secret rebellion against the fire and brimstone sermons that filled his days. Gay? Yeah. He'd known that since he was 12, when the cute altar boy from the next town over made his stomach flip during vacation Bible school. But in Elmwood, being queer was a one-way ticket to whispers, exile, or worse, conversion camps that Nathaniel himself endorsed from the pulpit. He'd never told a soul. Not even Eli. Eli Whitaker crashed into Sebastian's world like a rogue wave on a still lake during the summer before senior year. It was the annual county fair, greasy funnel cakes, Ferris wheel lights painting the sky electric, and the distant hum of tractors pulling kids on hayrides. Sebastian had volunteered at the church booth, slinging lemonade to fund the new organ, when Eli sauntered up, all broad shoulders and easy grin, his flannel shirt rolled to the elbows, tattoo of a compass peeking from his cuff. $2 for a swig of this holy water? Eli teased, tossing a crumpled bill onto the folding table. His voice had that low, gravelly drawl, pure Appalachia transplanted to Ohio after his folks split. 20. Home from community college for the weekend, working odd jobs to make rent on a trailer by the river. Sebastian's cheeks burned as he poured, spilling a splash onto Eli's hand. It's blessed by the best, he stammered, forcing a laugh that sounded foreign in his throat. Eli licked the drip from his knuckles, eyes locking on Sebastian's with a spark that felt like sin. Tastes like regret. You got anything stronger back there? Preacher's kid. They talked for hours after the booth closed, about Kerouac's open roads, the hypocrisy of small-town piety, the way Eli's dad had beaten the wanderlust out of him with a belt until he learned to run instead. Sebastian spilled fragments of his own cage, the weight of Nathaniel's expectations, the loneliness of loving in silence. By midnight, under the shadow of the Midway's blinking signs, Eli's hand brushed his, and Sebastian didn't pull away. It was the first time anyone had touched him like he mattered, not like a project or a prayer. From there, it was stolen moments. Late-night drives in Eli's beat-up Chevy, windows down, radio blasting Springsteen as they parked by the Cuyahoga River, the water black and murmuring secrets. Kisses that started tentative, tasting of cheap beer and freedom, evolving into something fiercer, hands exploring under starlight, bodies pressing close in the truck bed, whispering promises neither could keep. "You're beautiful, Seb," Eli would murmur against his neck, fingers tracing the curve of his spine. "Don't let this town steal that from you." Sebastian wanted to believe him. God, he did. But every time he slipped back into the Hale house, that Victorian relic with its creaky floors and walls papered in faded florals, guilt gnawed at him like termites. Nathaniel's study door would be ajar, the pastor hunched over his desk, Bible open but eyes distant, lost in whatever ghosts haunted his private hours. Sebastian would pause in the hallway, heart pounding, remembering the times Nathaniel's hugs lingered too long, the way his hand would rest on Sebastian's thigh during car rides to youth group, casual but charged. It wasn't assault, not in the bruises and screams way, but it was something. A pressure, a possession that made Sebastian's skin crawl even as it twisted with confusion. He pushed it down, like always, buried it under layers of filial duty and Eli's touch. But secrets have a way of fermenting, turning sweet into sour. Fall came like a thief, leaves turning crimson as school ramped up. Sebastian threw himself into AP English, dreaming of scholarships to NYU or anywhere that wasn't Ohio. Eli, back at college an hour away, texted constantly, flirty memes, voice notes husky with longing. "Miss your laugh, babe. Come visit this weekend." Sebastian ached to say yes, but Nathaniel's sermons had sharpened lately, laced with warnings about the snares of the flesh and youth led astray by modern vices. The youth group meetings dragged on longer, Nathaniel's gaze lingering on Sebastian as if he could smell the sin on him. One crisp October evening, after a particularly blistering Bible study on Sodom and Gomorrah, Sebastian lingered in the church basement, stacking folding chairs while the others filed out. Nathaniel approached, his footsteps soft on the linoleum, cologne sharp as accusation. "You seem distracted lately, son," he said, placing a hand on Sebastian's shoulder, firm, paternal, but the fingers dug in just a fraction too deep. "Is there something weighing on your heart? You know you can tell me anything." Sebastian's pulse thundered. Eli's latest text burned in his pocket. "Can't stop thinking about last night." "You?" he swallowed, forcing a smile. "Just school, Dad." Finals prep. Nathaniel's eyes narrowed, searching, then softened into that practiced warmth. The Lord tests us, Seb, but He provides a way out. Remember that. He pulled him into a hug, chin resting on Sebastian's head, and for a heartbeat, Sebastian stiffened, sensing the tremor in his father's breath, the way his body leaned in not as protector, but as supplicant. Then it was over, Nathaniel clapping his back and striding away, leaving Sebastian alone with the ghosts. That night, alone in his room, Sebastian cracked open his laptop, the screen's glow a forbidden beacon. He typed, "Pastor Scandals Gay," into the search bar, heart slamming against his ribs. Articles flooded in. Televangelists caught in motel rooms, youth leaders exposed on Grindr. One headline snagged him, "Midwest Clergy Abuse Ring Uncovered, Adoptive Fathers and Sons." He clicked, nausea rising as grainy photos loaded. Men in collars, boys with haunted eyes. Not Nathaniel, thank God, but close enough to chill the blood. He slammed the lid shut, breath ragged. It was nothing. Projection. Nathaniel was good, flawed. Maybe, but good. The church said so. The town said so. And Sebastian, he was the ingrate, the sinner, letting Eli's fire twist his thoughts. But doubt is a seed, and water finds its way. The first crack came 2 weeks later, during a rare weekend when Nathaniel was away at a clergy conference in Columbus. Sebastian invited Eli over, the house feeling vast and empty without the pastor's presence. They cooked spaghetti in the kitchen, burnt sauce and laughter, then tumbled onto the living room couch, the TV droning some forgotten western in the background. Eli's hands were everywhere, reverent and urgent, peeling away layers until Sebastian was bare, vulnerable, alive in a way he'd never known. "I love you," Eli whispered as they lay tangled in the afterglow, sheets twisted around their legs like promises. The words hung heavy, real, and Sebastian's throat tightened. "I love you too," he replied, the confession a dam breaking. Felt like flying and falling. They dozed off like that, limbs entwined, until headlights swept the driveway at 2 a.m. Nathaniel, home early. Panic surged. Eli bolted out the back door, shoes in hand, while Sebastian yanked on sweats, heart jackhammering as he feigned sleep in his room. Nathaniel didn't knock. He entered like he owned the shadows, standing over the bed, his silhouette a tower in the moonlight. "Bad dream, son?" he asked, voice silk over steel. Sebastian mumbled agreement. I squeezed shut, praying Eli had vanished into the night. The next morning, breakfast was a minefield. Nathaniel buttered his toast with deliberate slowness, eyes flicking to Sebastian over the rim of his coffee mug. "You were restless last night." "Anything I should know about? Just a nightmare," Sebastian lied, fork scraping eggs he couldn't taste. Nathaniel nodded, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. "The devil works in dreams, Seb. Best to confess it all." He reached across the table, squeezing Sebastian's hand, a gesture meant for comfort, but it felt like chains. That afternoon, rifling through the church's donation box for loose change, Nathaniel's petty cash habit, Sebastian found it. Tucked behind a stack of hymnals in the office safe, a yellowed envelope, no address, postmarked 15 years back. His fingers trembled as he pried it open, the paper crackling like bones. "My dearest Nate, I can't keep pretending. Last night in the motel, under those cheap sheets, I felt alive for the first time since seminary. Your touch, God, it undid me. But this life we're chasing, the collars and the crosses, is a cage. Meet me in Cincinnati next month. We can run. Leave it all behind. Forever yours, J. Sebastian's world tilted. J. Who the hell was Jay? And Nate, Nathaniel's old nickname, whispered only in private. The letter was creased from rereading, edges frayed, a faint coffee stain blooming like a bruise. His father, the saint, had been. What? Loved? Sinned? The implications crashed over him. Hypocrisy, not just in words, but in flesh. He resealed it, hands shaking, and slipped it back. But the seed had sprouted roots. Eli sensed the shift that weekend, during their stolen hour at the river. You're a million miles away, babe, he said, skipping stones across the water, ripples mocking Sebastian's calm. It's nothing, Sebastian lied again, hating the taste. But Eli pulled him close, lips brushing his temple. Talk to me. We're in this together. So Sebastian did, haltingly, the letter's ghost between them. Eli's face darkened, not with judgment, but fury. That bastard. If he's got his own dirt, why's he got you under his thumb? Because he's all I have, Sebastian whispered, the truth a knife. And because. What if he's right? What if I'm broken? Eli cupped his face. Fierce. You're not broken. You're mine. Their kiss was desperate. An anchor in the storm. But storms gather. November brought frost to Elmwood, the kind that bit through coats and settled in bones. Augustine's buzzed with Thanksgiving prep, turkey drives, prayer chains for the jobless mill workers. Nathaniel threw himself into it, his sermons swelling with themes of gratitude and redemption, as if he could will away the cracks Sebastian now saw in every gesture. At home, dinners grew tense, silences thick as gravy. Sebastian dodged questions, buried in college apps, but Nathaniel's eyes followed him like a hawk scenting blood. Eli became his lifeline. Weekends, he'd drive down, park a block away to avoid prying eyes. They'd hike the ravines behind town, hands linked where no one could see, sharing dreams of escape. Portland, Eli said one afternoon, breath fogging as they perched on a fallen log, leaves crunching underfoot. Rain like curtains, coffee shops that don't care who you love. We could get a place, you studying books, me fixing bikes. Sebastian leaned into him, the fantasy a bomb. And Nathaniel? Eli's jaw tightened. He stays here, rotting in his hypocrisy. It was easy to laugh it off then, tangled in Eli's arms on a blanket by the fire pit in his trailer, the world reduced to skin and size. But reality was a Sunday morning, when Nathaniel announced a family retreat, just the two of them, a cabin in the Hocking Hills, to reconnect before the holidays. Sebastian's stomach nodded. I have homework, Dad. Nonsense. God's timing is now. Nathaniel's tone brooked no argument, his hand on Sebastian's shoulder a vice. The drive was 2 hours of country radio and small talk, Nathaniel humming along to gospel tunes, Sebastian staring out at skeletal trees whipping by. The cabin was rustic charm, stone fireplace, quilts on the walls, a Bible on every surface. By evening, snow dusted the pines outside, and Nathaniel built a fire, pouring mulled cider that tasted suspiciously spiked. "Remember when I brought you home?" Nathaniel mused, settling on the couch, patting the cushion beside him. "You were so small, all elbows and fears. I saw myself in you, Seb. Lost, but redeemable." Sebastian perched on the edge, mug warming his palms. "Yeah. You saved me." Nathaniel's laugh was bitter, eyes glassy from the cider or memory. "Saved? Oh, son. No one's saved." He leaned closer, voice dropping. "I was 25 when I adopted you. Fresh out of seminary, full of fire. But before that, there was a man." The words landed like embers. Sebastian froze, the letters echo roaring in his ears. "James," Nathaniel continued, staring into the flames. "We met at divinity school. He was everything I wasn't, wild, unashamed. We sinned, Seb. In motels, in the back of his car, places where God couldn't see. I loved him. Thought it was forever." His voice cracked, hand reaching for Sebastian's knee. "But the calling pulled me back. I left him in Cincinnati, that last letter burning a hole in my pocket. Became the man Elmwood needed." Sebastian's mouth went dry. "Why tell me now?" "Because I see it in you." Nathaniel's gaze sharpened, fingers tightening. "The restlessness. The secrets. Who's the boy? Seb? The one with the truck that smells like river mud?" Ice flooded Sebastian's veins. Don't lie to me." Nathaniel's face twisted. Not anger, but hunger raw, unmasked. "I've protected you all these years. Watched you grow into this. But protection has a price. Confess, and I'll help you. Like I helped myself." The room spun. Sebastian jerked away, cider sloshing. "You mean like you helped James? By running?" Nathaniel recoiled as if slapped. "That was different. I chose grace. You could too, if you let me guide you." "Guide." The word slithered, laden with the hugs that lingered, the touches that blurred lines. Sebastian bolted for the door, boots crunching snow as he fled into the night. The woods swallowed him, branches clawing like accusations, until he collapsed against a tree, sobs racking his frame. Nathaniel's truth wasn't just a past sin. It was a mirror, reflecting Sebastian's own cage, and the key held by a man who wanted to lock it tighter. Back at the cabin, dawn graying the sky, Nathaniel waited on the porch, blanket draped over his shoulders. "I'm sorry," he said simply. "No sermon, just a father broken. I never meant to burden you." Sebastian hovered at the tree-line, torn. "You think this makes us even? Your secret for mine?" "No." Nathaniel's eyes glistened. "But it makes us human. Come inside, son. Let's pray on it." Against every instinct, Sebastian did. They knelt by the fire, hands clasped, Nathaniel's voice murmuring psalms. But as the words flowed, his thumb stroked Sebastian's knuckles, soft, insistent. When it was over, Nathaniel pulled him close, embrace turning possessive. "My beautiful boy," he breathed, lips brushing Sebastian's temple. Horror surged. Sebastian shoved him back, stumbling to his feet. "Don't. Just don't." Nathaniel's face crumpled. "Seb, I'm leaving." The words were out before he could stop them. He grabbed his bag, stormed to the truck, engine roaring to life over Nathaniel's pleas. The drive home was a blur, radio silenced, tears carving tracks down his cheeks. Elmwood loomed, unchanged, tracked homes twinkling with early Christmas lights. Augustine's steeple piercing the clouds like a finger of judgment. Eli was waiting, text lighting up his phone. "Where are you? Call me." But Sebastian couldn't. Not yet. The cabin had unearthed something primal, a betrayal not just of trust, but of self. Nathaniel's love wasn't paternal. It was a shadow of his own denied desires, projected onto the son he'd molded in his image. He holed up in his room, skipping school Monday, staring at the letter he'd swiped from the safe in a final act of defiance. James's words mocked him, "We can run." But running meant leaving Eli, the town, the fragile life he'd built. Or did it? Tuesday brought confrontation. Nathaniel cornered him in the kitchen, face haggard from a sleepless night. "We need to talk about the retreat." "There's nothing to say." Sebastian's voice was steel, honed by nights replaying the touch. Nathaniel's hand shot out, gripping his wrist. "You stole from me. That letter, it's private. Let go." Panic flared, but Nathaniel pulled him closer, eyes wild. "You think you're better? With your little river rat? I know everything. Seb. Saw the truck last month. If you don't end it, You'll what? Out me to the church." Sebastian wrenched free, chest heaving. "Do it. See if I care." Nathaniel's laugh was hollow. "Oh, care. For your soul. And mine." He straightened his collar, the saint resurfacing. "Youth group tonight. Be there. Or Eli's name goes in my next sermon." The threat landed like a gut punch. Sebastian nodded, numb, and fled to school where whispers already swirled. Someone had seen Eli's truck. Tommy Hargrove, the quarterback with a grudge, cornered him at lunch. "Heard you're batting for the other team, preacher boy." "That true." "Fuck off," Sebastian snarled, slamming his tray down. But the seed was planted. That night, youth group was hell. 30 kids crammed into the basement, singing off-key praises while Nathaniel paced like a lion, eyes boring into Sebastian. "Temptation comes to us all," he preached, voice rising. "Like David with Bathsheba, we stare into the abyss. But who among us has the strength to turn away?" Sebastian's skin crawled, the room closing in. Halfway through, he slipped out, texting Eli, "Meet me. Now. Park." Eli arrived in minutes, concern etching his face. "What happened? You look wrecked." Under the sodium lamps, Sebastian spilled it, the cabin, the letter, the threat. Eli's fists clenched. "He's blackmailing you? With what? Your heart. Screw that. We tell someone. The bishop, cops, whoever. And say what? My dad's a closet case who gropes me in prayer." Sebastian's laugh was bitter. "They'll call me the liar. The fag." Eli pulled him into a fierce hug. "Then we run. Tonight. My truck's packed. Clothes, cash from my gigs. Portland. Remember." The offer dangled, seductive. But fear rooted Sebastian. "What about you? Your life here. You're my life." Eli's kiss was salt and fire, sealing the pact. They planned in whispers. Leave at midnight, gas up in Akron, vanish by dawn. Sebastian packed light, a backpack with books, the letter as talisman, a photo of them by the river. As the clock ticked, guilt gnawed. Nathaniel asleep upstairs, oblivious, the man who'd given him a home, now it's prison. At 11:45, engine idling a street over, Eli texted, "Ready?" Sebastian crept downstairs, front door creaking like a confession. But as he stepped into the cold, headlights flared, Nathaniel's truck, blocking the driveway. "Going somewhere, son," the pastor emerged, shotgun in hand, not raised, but there, glinting under streetlight. Time fractured. Sebastian's backpack slipped from his shoulder, thudding to the frost-kissed lawn like a heartbeat. Nathaniel's face was a mask of sorrow and steel, the shotgun cradled casual as a Bible, but its presence screamed volumes. "Get in the house," he said, voice low, laced with that preacher's calm that could soothe or condemn. Eli's truck revved from the shadows, tires spitting gravel as he gunned it toward them. "Seb, run!" But Nathaniel stepped forward, the gun lifting just enough to catch the light. "Stay where you are, boy. This is family business." Headlights pinned them all, Eli's Chevy a beast idling, Nathaniel's Ford a sentinel. Sebastian's legs locked, world narrowing to the barrel's black eye. "Dad, please." "It's not what. I know exactly what it is." Nathaniel's gaze flicked to Eli, disgust curling his lip. "Sodom's spawn. Come to steal my son." Eli killed the engine, hands visible as he stepped out slow. "No one's stealing. We're leaving. Together." Nathaniel's laugh barked, sharp as winter wind. "Leaving? To what? Filth and fire. The Lord says." "Fuck the Lord." Eli exploded, advancing. "And fuck you, you hypocritical prick. We know about James. Your little motel romps. You're no saint. You're just scared." The name hit like a bullet. Nathaniel paled, shotgun trembling. "Lies. Sebastian, tell me he's lying." Sebastian's mouth worked, silent. The letter burned in his pocket, heavier than sin. "It's true," he finally choked. "I found it. You loved him. Why can't I?" "Because I repented," Nathaniel roared, the gun swinging wild. "I chose the light. You think this, he gestured at Eli, at Sebastian's tear-streaked defiance, "is love? It's damnation." Eli lunged, tackling Nathaniel to the ground. The shotgun skidded across pavement, discharging with a thunderclap that shattered a neighbor's window. Glass rained. Screams echoed from nearby homes, Elmwood waking to chaos. Sebastian dove for the gun, fingers closing on cold metal as the men grappled, grunts and curses filling the night. "Stop!" he yelled, aiming at neither, the weight foreign and terrifying. "Both of you stop." They froze. Nathaniel pinned under Eli's knee, face twisted in rage and something deeper, defeat. "Shoot him, Seb. End this temptation." Eli's eyes met Sebastian's, not fear, but trust. "Don't. You're better than him." Sirens wailed distant, closing fast. A porch light flicked on, Mrs. Hargrove's voice shrilled. "Pastor? What's happening?" Nathaniel bucked, shoving Eli off, scrambling for dignity. "It's nothing. Evelyn, go back inside." But the damage was done. Lights bloomed house by house, whispers turning to shouts. Sebastian dropped the gun, backing away, the world a kaleidoscope of flashing red-blue. Cops arrived in minutes, two locals who golfed with Nathaniel on Sundays. They separated them quick. Eli cuffed on suspicion of assault, Sebastian in the back of a cruiser, Nathaniel spinning tales of a prowler, a misunderstanding. The church elder, roused from bed, arrived in pajamas, corroborating just enough to spring them all by dawn. Charges pending, but for the pastor's sake, let's keep it quiet, quiet. As if Elmwood had ever known such a thing. By morning, the town hummed. Grocery lines buzzed with, "That Whitaker boy attacked the pastor over the boy." Pews would empty with, "Protect our children from the deviants." Sebastian holed up. Phone confiscated. Nathaniel study his new cell. "For your safety," the man said, locking the door with a click that echoed like Judgment Day. Days blurred, suspension from school. Eli's texts blocked. The letter confiscated in a cleansing bonfire Nathaniel forced him to watch. Burn the past, son. Start fresh, but ashes cling. Eli's arraignment was a circus. Sebastian sneaked out, borrowing a bike to the courthouse, heart pounding as he slipped into the back row. Eli stood tall in orange. No plea, just a glance that said hold on. The judge, another churchgoer, set bail high, but Eli's mom posted it, tears streaking her face. "My boy's no criminal," she spat at reporters, but her eyes begged Sebastian's when they locked. After, in the alley behind, Eli crushed him in a hug. "I'm out. But they're watching me. Cops. You're dead. We gotta be smart." Sebastian clung, inhaling sawdust and resolve. "I can't stay here. He'll destroy us. Then come with me." Now, Eli's truck was parked nearby, engine warm. But as they moved to climb in, tires screeched, a black SUV, unmarked, blocking escape. Nathaniel emerged, flanked by two deacons, faces grim as Old Testament prophets. "Get in the car, Sebastian. No room for no." Eli stepped forward. "He's not your property." One deacon grabbed Eli's arm, the other Nathaniel's shadow. "This ends tonight." Youth intervention, church policy. Intervention. The word curdled. Sebastian had heard of them, marathons of prayer, isolation, tough love that broke spirits. "No," he whispered, but hands propelled him into the SUV, door slamming like a coffin lid. The retreat center was an hour out. A converted farm on church land, barbed wire fences, no cell service, Bibles chained to bunks. 10 boys, all troubled, runaways, potheads, whispers of like him, huddled in the mess hall that first night, stew congealing on trays. The lead counselor, Brother Mark, a bull-necked ex-Marine with a cross tattoo, boomed grace, then laid down rules. No talking back, full confession by week's end, deliverance through discipline. Sebastian's group was small, him and 4 others, nights spent in circle jerks of testimony. "What tempted you, son?" Mark would prod, flashlight beam pinning like interrogation. "Love," Sebastian muttered once, earning a backhand that split his lip. "Wrong answer. It's the devil's mimicry." Bruises bloomed, hidden under long sleeves. Letters from home, censored. Eli's smuggled note, passed via a sympathetic kitchen hand. "I'm fighting. Lawyer says assault charge sticks if we push. Love you. Escape soon." Sebastian memorized it, burned it in the latrine sink. Halfway through, Nathaniel visited, cleared by Mark. Of course. They met in the quiet room, a closet of white walls and a single chair. "This is for your good," he said, kneeling to eye level, hand on Sebastian's knee, paternal again, or trying. "I went through worse at your age, James. He was my weakness. But prayer fixed me." Sebastian's laugh was raw. "Fixed? You still look at me like he did." Nathaniel flinched. "That's unfair. I'm saving you from that pain." "Pain? Or regret?" Sebastian leaned in, voice venom. "You loved him. Admit it, own it. Instead of making me pay." Tears tracked Nathaniel's cheeks. "I can't. The church, the town, they need the saint, not the sinner." His fingers brushed Sebastian's cheek, thumb tracing the bruise. "But you're my redemption. Stay with me. We'll heal together." The touch ignited revulsion and pity. This man, crumbling before him, wasn't monster or martyr, just a soul starved, grasping at shadows. Sebastian pulled away. "Heal? You're killing me." Nathaniel's face hardened. "Then go. But know this, Eli's finished here. I've spoken to the Whitakers. Job gone. Trailer evicted. Unless you renounce him." Blackmail evolved. Sebastian's resolve cracked. "You'd destroy him? For what, your image? For us?" Nathaniel's whisper was fervent. "The family God gave." That night, Sebastian broke. In the bunk's darkness, sobs muffled in pillow, he scrawled a note. It was a mistake. "We're done. Don't come for me." Slipped to the handoff boy for mailing. Sacrifice, he told himself. For Eli's freedom. But betrayal tastes like ash. Week's end. Release. Nathaniel picked him up. Silent drive home. Radio humming hymns. Elmwood greeted with averted eyes. Gossip's half-life. School reinstated. But isolation reigned. Friends ghosted. Lockers scrawled with slurs. Eli's trailer sat dark. For sale sign stabbed in the yard. Sebastian biked there. Heart lead. Finding a single envelope in the mailbox. "Got your note. If that's what you want, fine. But it wasn't a mistake. You were. Take care. Saint's boy." The words eviscerated. Sebastian crumpled it, hurling it into the river that night, current claiming his lies. He hadn't meant it, hadn't sent it, but the damage lapped like waves. Winter deepened. Holidays a farce. Nathaniel's Christmas sermon soared. Redemption in the stable's shadow. Congregation thundering applause. Oblivious. Sebastian sat front row. Hollow. Clapping mechanically. Post-service. Handshakes and pies. But Eli's absence gnawed. A ghost at the feast. New Year's. Alone in his room. Champagne pilfered from the pantry. Sebastian scrolled old photos. Eli's grin by firelight. Their hands laced. Tears blurred the screen. "I'm sorry." He typed to a blocked number. Unsent. Then, a knock. Not Nathaniel, too tentative. Sebastian cracked the door. And there stood Eli. Duffel at feet. Eyes stormy. "Your note was bullshit. I know you." "How?" "Doesn't matter." Eli shouldered in. Door shutting soft. "I'm not running without you." They collided, kisses bruising. Hands frantic. Reclaiming what betrayal stole. In the tangle of his bed. Whispers wove plans anew. Wait till spring. Sebastian's NYU acceptance. Then bolt. But spring brought thorns. February thawed Elmwood slow, mud sucking at tires, hearts mired deeper. Sebastian's world shrank to routines. School drudgery, church obligations, stolen glances at Eli across the diner where he waitressed now, dodging eviction's edge. Their encounters were guerrilla, quick coffees in Cleveland, overnights when Nathaniel led lock-ins, each goodbye a fresh wound. Nathaniel watched closer, sermons veering personal. The prodigal's return demands surrender. Post-service, he'd pull Sebastian aside, voice oily concern. "You're glowing, son. Is it him? Or him?" Sebastian deflected, but cracks showed. A deacon's wife caught them at the quarry one dusk, kissing fierce against rusted machinery. By Monday, whispers reached Nathaniel, his face at breakfast a thunderhead. "We need to pray," he declared, dragging Sebastian to the study. On knees before the cross-stitched, "Forgive us." Nathaniel's hands clasped his, pressure mounting. "Confess the sin, Seb. Let it go." But confession twisted. "It's not sin," Sebastian whispered. "It's us." Nathaniel's grip bruised. "Us? There's no us in abomination." His breath hitched, eyes delving, hunger veiled as zeal. "I could make you see. Like James taught me." The implication slithered. Sebastian yanked free, bolting upstairs, door barred. That night, dreams tangled, Eli's touch morphing to Nathaniel's, saints leering from windows. Morning brought ultimatum. Nathaniel at the breakfast table, Bible open to Leviticus, voice steady. "The church knows, son. About the quarry. About everything." Sebastian's fork clattered. "You told them? I protected you." Nathaniel's eyes gleamed. "A special service exorcism of spirits. Tonight. Come willingly, or they drag you." Exorcism. The word chilled, evoking chains and screams from online horrors. "You're insane. I'm saving you." Nathaniel rose, hand extended. "As I saved myself." Sebastian fled to school, but halls buzzed, notes passed, stairs pinning. Tommy Hargrove blocked his locker. "Fairies getting prayed out tonight." "Praise Jesus." Panic clawed. He texted Eli, "They're coming for me." Church. 7 p.m. "Help." Eli's reply, "On my way. Hold tight." 6 o'clock. St. Augustine's swelled. Not the usual 50, but packed pews, elders in suits, women clutching pearls. Word had spread. The pastor's boy. Possessed. Sebastian arrived under escort, 2 deacons. Grips iron led to the altar like sacrifice. Nathaniel waited in robes, face serene as a painting, but eyes feral. "Welcome, flock. Tonight, we witness grace." The rite began banal. Hymns, readings on purity. Then, the circle, elders surrounding Sebastian on a folding chair, hands anointed in oil. Brother Mark from the center loomed, cross raised. "Spirits of lust, be gone." Prayers swelled, cacophony, tongues, weeping, hands on Sebastian's shoulders pressing down. He thrashed, not from demons, but rage. "Stop, this is bullshit." Nathaniel knelt before him, voice cutting through. "Fight it, son. For me." The doors burst then, Eli, wild-eyed, flanked by his mom and a stranger in a suit. Lawyer, face stern. "This stops now. False imprisonment. Assault the works. Chaos erupted. Elders surged. Mark bellowing, "Intruders!" But Eli plowed through, reaching Sebastian, yanking him up. "Got you." Fists flew, deacon versus lawyer. Pews toppling. Nathaniel seized the mic. "Blasphemers! Guards!" But Elmwood's sheriff, tipped by Eli's call, stormed in, badge flashing. "Stand down. Hail, you're under arrest." For what? The cabin touches? The intervention bruises? Evidence piled. The letter, recovered from ashes via Sebastian's hidden copy. Witness statements from center boys. Eli's bruises from the night. Nathaniel crumpled, mic clattering. "It's lies. All of it." Sebastian faced him, inches away, voice steady. "No, that is truth. Yours. Mine." The congregation fractured, gasps, exits, a woman fainting. As cuffs clicked on Nathaniel, he whispered, "Forgive me." "Not yet," Sebastian replied, turning away, Eli's arm his anchor. Spring bloomed bloody. Scandal sheets devoured Elmwood. Pastor exposed. Gay past. Abuse claims. Nathaniel's flock splintered. Half rallied, calling it Satan's attack. The other fled to megachurches. Bail denied. Trial loomed summer. Sebastian and Eli hunkered in the trailer. Now there's via Eli's mom's grace. Nights tangled in sheets. Days job hunting. Applications flying. NYU waitlisted. Waitlisted became Wait No More when Sebastian's essay, Shadows of Saints, went viral on a queer-lit forum, admissions buzzing. But betrayal's echo lingered. One rainy April eve, package arrived. Nathaniel's effects from lockup, via lawyer. Inside, the letter, original, preserved, and a note. "I was wrong. Love wasn't sin. Be free." And tears stung. Human. Finally, human. Graduation came soft. Caps tossed under May skies. Eli pinned a corsage, wildflowers, not roses, to Sebastian's gown. To new roads. The ceremony blurred. Nathaniel absent. But his shadow loomed in cheers from unexpected corners. Mrs. Hargrove, nodding approval. Tommy, awkward handshake. "Sorry, man." After bonfire at the quarry, class tradition. Now there's a lone. Flames danced. Beers cracked. Eli pulling Sebastian close. Portland still. Better. Sebastian grinned. Firelight gilding his face. New York. You, me, the city that never sleeps on secrets. Eli's kiss sealed it, deep and sure. Summer trial scorched. Nathaniel pled no contest. Abuse of power, not the touches, to spare details. Sentence. Probation. Therapy. Defrocked. Courtroom packed. Sebastian testified soft. He tried to love. Just wrong. Nathaniel's eyes met his across the bar, grateful, broken. "I'm proud," he mouthed. Outside, reporters swarmed, but Eli shielded, truck peeling out. "Free," he said, hand on Sebastian's thigh, claim, not cage. August dawned electric. Moving truck stuffed, Elmwood shrinking rear view. Nathaniel visited once, awkward coffee at the diner, silver hair unkempt. The church is folding, but I'm starting over. Counseling, real this time. For men like us. Sebastian nodded, walls thawing. Good. Write sometime. I will. Handshake. Then hug brief. Pure. Go live. Son. The drive east was epic. Diner stops. Sing-alongs to Dylan. Nights in motels echoing James's ghosts but reborn. New York swallowed them. Subway rattles. Skyline teeth. Eli's bike shop gig. Sebastian's lit classes. Fall leaves turned Central Park gold. Their apartment a shoebox of books and dreams. One crisp night. Rooftop under stars. Rare clear sky. Eli knelt. Ring glinting. Junk silver. Engraved run together. Marry me, not question. Bow. Sebastian pulled him up. Yes, in a kiss that tasted of forever. Years wove. Eli's shop thrived. Custom tats for queer icons. Sebastian's novel. Saint's Shadow, hit shelves. Humanistic hymn to flawed loves. Nathaniel? Letters sporadic. Then steady therapy journals. A partner named Paul. Cautious steps from closet to light. One Christmas. They visited Ohio snow-soft. Augustine sold. A new life budding. Nathaniel at the airport. Older but lighter. Paul at his side. Family, he said. Embracing. Human, flawed. Forgiven. Decades distilled to moments. Eli's laugh echoing in their Brooklyn brownstone. Now with a garden where wildflowers bloomed defiant. Sebastian's second book signing. Nathaniel in the front row. Clapping with arthritic hands. Paul beaming beside. Elmwood faded to postcard memory. Visits rare, but healing, like scars that itch less over time. Middle age crept gentle. Eli's hair silvered first. Tattoos fading to stories. Sebastian's eyes crinkled with wisdom. Words flowing freer. They adopted 2 boys, Jamal and Theo, from the city's foster fray. Echoes of Sebastian's youth but rewritten. Love without strings. Eli taught them, tossing ball in the park. Sebastian editing essays nearby. Nathaniel's end came quiet, heart, unannounced, in his Cincinnati apartment with Paul. Call it dawn. He's gone, Paul choked. Peaceful. Asked for you. Funeral was small, old flock remnants. New friends from his support group. Ohio chill bit, but Sebastian stood firm. Eulogy prepared. He wasn't saint, he said, voice steady over sniffles. But he tried. Loved hard. Wrong ways first. Right ones later. That's human. That's grace. Graveyard mud clung shoes. Paul handed a box. Nathaniel's last gift. The letter, framed now. James's words preserved. He kept it close. Said it reminded him. Love wins. Eventually. Back in New York. Eli framed it in their study. Beside wedding photo, 2 kids under Ferris lights. Oblivious to storms. To truths. He toasted that night. Wine glasses clinking. Kids grew, Jamal to art school. Theo engineering and flew. But visits wove tight. Grandkids came. Little Mia with Eli's grin. Chubby fists grabbing Sebastian's books. Story. Papa Seb. He'd spin tales, not of saints and shadows, but wanderers finding home. Old age settled soft. Eli first to falter, knees creaking, but hands still sure on Sebastian's waist during slow dances in the kitchen. Radio crooning Sinatra. 80 next month. Eli mused one autumn. Leaves swirling Tompkins Square. Feels like yesterday. That river. Feels like always, Sebastian replied, leaning in. Nathaniel's legacy lingered in letters to the boys. Your dad's taught me love's not perfect, but it's real. Be brave. Eli's passing was dawn. Hard again. In bed, Sebastian's hand in his. Run ahead, he whispered, grin fading. I'll catch up. Grief hollowed, but filled slow. Books unwritten. Mia's wedding where Sebastian danced with Paul, toasting absent souls. Sebastian outlived them all. 92 when the end tugged gentle. In the brownstone, surrounded by photos, rivers, steeples, wildflowers, he closed eyes, Eli's voice echoing, "You're mine." The church had called him saint, but Sebastian knew. They were all just men, loving through the dark. And in that, grace enough. Epilogue whispers. Descendants carry the story, not as scandal, but saga. Jamal's novel, Echoes of Elmwood, tops charts. Theo's foundation aids foster queer kids. Mia's reading, Under Brooklyn Lights, she raises glass. To the truths nobody else saw but we did. Fade to rain on stained glass. Not judgment, but renewal. Saints fall. Loves rise.